What's up, everybody? It's Aaron and Ray here with another episode of Franchise Tag Fantasy Football Podcast. As always, please give us a like, or subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, let us know what you guys are thinking about the show. We are done running our comments to enter the draft, or not the draft, the league, excuse me. Sorry, Ray and I were talking trades for our keeper league before this. My mind's in a different place right now.
I got him bamboozled, everybody.
He bamboozled me last year, but we're trying to get a deal worked out, and I'm also trying to get like 3 more deals worked out. But anyways, so if you want to still enter, you can go back. There are a couple spots left. You can go back to the videos and comment on those videos, and let us know. And if it doesn't fill up, then right before draft season starts, or the week of the draft, 4th week of preseason, the 3rd week going into the 4th week that weekend, we'll do something where we can get a couple people a chance to enter. But yeah, other than that, Ray, how you doing?
Well, it's been a really busy week. Busy. Yep. A lot of overtime, a lot of getting called out in the middle of the night. Then me and my dad and my brother-in-law were building out my bathroom, so my whole house is a mess. But I wanted to ask you real quick, we were watching a couple things here late night, me and the old ball and chain, good friend of the show, Leandra. What's the worst movie that you've ever seen? Think about it real fast. What's the worst movie that you've ever seen? I already know which one I'm talking about here.
What are you talking about?
I can't remember the name now. It's a movie with the robot that it's made by the same guys from District 19.
Chappie?
Yes, Chappie. Oh my God. The worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Hands down.
Think so?
Oh yeah. Without a question.
I don't know, man.
It was rough.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I'd have to really, really stew on that one. We don't have enough time for me to go through my Rolodex of movies in my head.
Well, just name one that sucked. Recently that you've seen.
Since the new Suicide Squad came out, I think the first Suicide Squad was not that good in comparison.
Well, I didn't mind. I haven't seen the new one yet. I haven't seen it, but
the new one's pretty good. It's pretty funny.
I didn't mind the first one. I thought it was all right.
It's not bad, but you said just think
it's
of
a DC movie.
Sucks, like in comparison.
Most DC. Oh, you know what?
Green Lantern.
Movie too. There it is.
The Green Lantern was awful.
The one that really comes to mind is that the newest Wonder Woman movie. That one blew. Oh my God.
84 or whatever.
Yes. It was cringy, and no thanks. No, I'm all out.
Yeah, out on that one, dude. Our chat is going for our league.
So just let you guys know
crunch time.
Fantasy football season is right about to kick off. So if you guys hear our phones ringing in the background, it's because we have 2 guys that don't shut up in the chat that just got added in there. They just don't shut up ever.
It's not really that. It's just that we're getting into crunch time of the actual season, right? So preseason just kicked off. Everyone's got the hype. We're going to talk about a little preseason.
We are going to talk about it.
The choot, the hype train. But everyone's starting to come back to fantasy football now. It's just that time of the year. You know what I mean? So everyone's starting to catch up. If you don't follow throughout the offseason, I know Ray and I do a lot of research and listen to other podcasts and things all throughout the offseason to keep up to date. We get our notifications from our handy dandy trusty app, Twitter, all of the good stuff. But now the regular Joe Schmoes are starting to come back and join the world of football. So it's starting to get crazy. Everyone's starting to try to get our keepers are due 2 weeks from now. So everyone's starting to try to get their little last minute trade conversations and stuff going in. If you hear bzz, bzz in the background, that would be us.
One of us.
Yeah,
it's one of us.
So, but anyways, I think that kind of rolls us into the next little part here of let's get on this hype train, Ray. There was something you told me as soon as we got on the call together that you said this needs to happen now.
All right, so I don't know how many people were interested in watching that Bears game. I don't know how many people were super high on Justin Fields. I don't know what everybody's thoughts were coming into that game. Bears fans specifically, I'm sorry for everything you've gone through, but I'm not really sorry. Justin Fields, I think, is the real deal. out of all of the rookie quarterbacks, and I'm including Jordan Love in that conversation because that was his first game in 2 years. Out of all of the quarterbacks that I was able to watch, I think that Justin Fields looked like he was NFL ready in that game. Now I understand it's preseason. I get that he's probably playing against, 2s and 3s and guys fighting for a roster spot, but so were the other quarterbacks that were out there. Trey Lance, Jordan Love, even
Zach Wilson.
Trevor Lawrence also struggled. And I'm not saying that, Justin Fields is lighting the world on fire, but he looked the most composed out of all of them. This is just week one looking at it. I got to get hype about something, and I think I'm real hype on Justin Fields. If you're getting a dynasty in your dynasty startups and you're thinking about maybe drafting a quarterback out of one of these four guys, I would probably lean towards Justin Fields right now. If I had to draft right now off of recency bias alone.
I would probably go opposite of you. If I had someone like a Tom Brady or, like a Kirk Cousins who could be viable this year in Dynasty, I would snag Trey Lance.
Yeah,
just because you have a year to wait. If you're looking for halfway for the season that you're going to need a spot start at quarterback in a Dynasty league, then I would say take Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, and I don't think that. And now this is just saying that Matt Nagy's not an idiot, but
he is though.
I hope that this season is really a redshirt season for Justin Fields. I do not think it's going to be for Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is probably going to start. He looked the part. I'm not saying that he came in and lit the world on fire, unless you want to count that 80-yard bomb. But, I mean, the one thing that I thought was kind of weird when I was watching that Niners game and when Trey Lance was in, you didn't see him take off. You didn't see him try and, move the ball with his feet, more as he was getting outside of the pocket to set up a deeper throw, specifically what that 80-yard touchdown pass was. Maybe that's an indication of what the coaching staff is telling him not to do during week one of preseason. Maybe that's his tendencies. Definitely something to monitor going forward in each preseason game, especially if you're going to be in that, rookie startup draft for your dynasties, or even if you want to take him in a keeper league with a really late pick, just to say that you got, a really solid quarterback in the future, maybe. Just an idea to kind of float in your head. Also, if you want to talk about Trevor Lawrence for a second, his line is awful.
Yeah, it looks.
And I don't know how many starters
last year.
How many starters were not there? I'm pretty sure that they were basically first team.
I don't know. I saw all of the tweets of roster positions of these are the players that aren't playing, and there's so many that it's hard to keep up with. So, but yeah, I mean, we can if you want to. My biggest takeaway from that game were he didn't look as polished as he needed to be for the first overall pick. Theoretically, he's going to favor Marvin Jones, and Marvin Jones is going to be able to go up and get the balls because you saw it happen. Little short and behind throw to Marvin Jones. I think you know what I'm talking about. We went up and basically picked it over the defender. Had that ball been a little higher and in stride, it would have been a good throw. But
also, I after watching just the week one, maybe I want to see a little more going forward. But it looked like Laviska Shenault is going to be involved.
Oh yeah,
and they wanted to get him the ball I think as much as what his workload can handle. So definitely something to monitor.
It's like you said. It's really preseason is really hard because even outside of like Najee Harris in the Hall of Fame game, like they're going, one or two series tops. Up to the ones are going one or two series tops, if at all, and that's going to be basically every week in week 4 of preseason. They're probably not going to play at all, so you're not going to see full on real reps up until week 1 of the NFL season. Yeah. Also, with that being said, Hard Knocks is on TV. People, please temper your expectations.
CeeDee Lamb in the second, baby.
Jesus. We haven't seen Amari Cooper yet, but CeeDee Lamb is already going ahead of him. Dak Prescott with the lat or shoulder or whatever's going on, but CeeDee Lamb is going to skyrocket. I think Zeke's going to get pushed up in drafts too. But Zeke does look like he's lost a little bit of weight and gotten in really good shape. Like, I will say that much. But it happened with, what was it, the Browns 2 years ago. It happened with the Chargers and Rams last year. It's gonna happen. It happens every year. It's the Hard Knocks hype is all it is.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they're not bad. But instead of getting CeeDee Lamb in the fourth, you're gonna have to get him, middle of the third or back of the second.
Back of the second is so high.
That's crazy.
No way. There's so
the
many
hype
other
is going to
receivers take.
happen. So
That's crazy.
as we were talking about with the offseason, everyone's starting to come back now because football is starting. All of those people who are just the casual fans that literally only watch from, the last week of preseason for drafts until the Super Bowl and then don't do anything else football the rest of the year, they're going to be the ones who drive his ADP up because they're going to be like, oh, crap, did you see CeeDee Lamb during the 5-episode series of Hard Knocks? He looks really good.
Yeah, I don't know. Zeke definitely looks good, though. I'm going to be real. He does. I want to see him on the field.
Who
I want to see him in real action. Who's that?
Tony Pollard.
Crazy. It's like I said that. It's like I said it.
I was waiting for you to say that. But yeah, if you notice, both of them didn't play in the Hall of Fame game.
I think this week Tony Pollard took 1 series or 2. Maybe he took 2.
He's not a slouch by any means.
No. But what I'm saying is that things to glean from week 1. If you're not seeing a starter out there, if you had a perceived starter that didn't show up for week 1 of the preseason, most likely he is the starter. Zeke, obviously, the starter. But Tony Pollard only took 2 series, maybe 1. I can't remember if it was like 1 or 2. It's not a lot.
It reminds me.
They want to use him during the season,
I mean, and you've seen Mike McCarthy do it outside of when he had Eddie Lacy, right? You've seen
even when he had Eddie Lacy, he did it.
Well, that is true.
Yeah, James Starks was
that is
involved.
True. Yeah. Let's retract my last statement. You are correct. So I mean, and I think it's going to turn into more of a Cleveland Browns type deal where obviously Ezekiel Elliott's
Cleveland Browns light.
Yeah. It's what it's going to be, where Ezekiel Elliott's going to get most of the workload just like Nick Chubb, but they're going to be afforded that luxury of in the fourth quarter, they're up, they can run Tony Pollard if they want to keep Zeke fresh.
And by light, I would like to just give the correlation to say that Tony Pollard isn't Kareem Hunt, but in the sense that Kareem Hunt is going to be a running back too. He's going to be, that's where I think his floor would be. For the amount of workload he's going to get, he's going to be an RB2 and a safe one. But I think Tony Pollard is a sneaky flex. Do you see where the correlation is? Where he's not that far off, but he definitely isn't a safe RB2.
Tony Pollard will probably finish top, I would say 36. So running back 3, so a flex play.
Yeah, and I think that's enough to kind of temper your expectations on Zeke a little bit. Kind of pump the brakes a little bit on Zeke.
For sure.
To circle back around in your Hard Knocks take.
Yep. So we're long-winded on that one. Let's speed run through these.
It's the news, baby. It's the news.
Javonte Williams. I just want to say, go back, watch episode 1. Called my shot. He will be, unfortunately, a later half of the year player, but he will be something.
I don't know if it's going to be later half. I think it's going to be pretty soon, maybe like week 4 or something like that.
Melvin Gordon's in his last year of his contract. He's older. Why would the Broncos not just run the wheels off of him and keep Javonte fresh?
I think it's going to come down to
efficiency.
Efficiency is one thing. How well does Melvin Gordon hold up in the first few weeks? He's had injuries before, and how good is the offense? Drew Lock didn't look terrible. He didn't look bad. I think Teddy Bridgewater probably looked better, but Teddy Bridgewater was also playing against probably the 3s at that point. So, it's a tough call out in Denver. I don't really know what to think because you see like the plays with Jerry Jeudy where he just explodes up the sideline, and you're like, man, I want some of that. But then you're like, that is also tied to a bag of buns under center with Drew Lock. Do you really want that? No. So it's such a difficult tightrope to walk. I think it's similar with Javonte and with Melvin Gordon. It's messy. I think that's the best way to put it. right now.
It is. I'm trying to think who else is there really to talk about. Don't let the Ramondre Stevenson, he plays like third fiddle for the Patriots. Don't let his 91-yard touchdown run like hype him up too much. I don't think he's really going to be. I mean, there's 4 running backs in New England just about every year. He'll be something for like one game this entire season, but don't let that fool you guys.
Do you think that eats into Damien Harris's workload at all? Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I don't think it does either, but
that's one of those. Everyone jumps on the hype train because it's a 91-yard touchdown run. Yeah, it's awesome. But like you said, number one, he's a third teamer playing against other threes, and he just happens to be the best 3 on the field at the time. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Well, the best 3 might make himself too worthy.
And that's what I'm saying. So we still need to see more. This is one of those that you need to see more in the preseason because he's going to get a lot of reps in the preseason.
Oh, yeah, yes. I don't think Damien Harris steps on the field until like week 3.
No. Behind who?
What?
Behind who?
What do you mean behind? He's the starter there.
Yeah, you said you don't think Damien Harris steps on the field till week 3.
Yeah, until like week 3. Like he'll come out.
Talking about Ramondre Stevenson?
No, Ramondre Stevenson is going to take most of the reps in the preseason. Damien Harris is going to take any reps until about week 3.
Oh,
week 3
okay.
Of the preseason. Sorry, week 3 of the preseason.
I'm tracking now.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about?
This man is so into these trades we're talking about. Let me tell you.
But anyways,
bamboozled.
So Cam looks like trash. It's not the Cam that we had the last few years, or it's the Cam we had the last few years, not the Cam that we've seen past.
He's not an MVP.
Thank you. Mac Jones did not look bad.
Mac Jones starts week 5.
Yeah, they have early bye week, I think, right?
Yeah, we already talked about this, and I already said he's going to start week 5. And I don't know. You can take it to the bank. It's fine. That check is good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much it for big names of preseason wise, right? Minus
that's all I
Wilson,
got.
Who didn't look very good. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got.
Denzel Mims is not worth anything. You probably should get rid of him as soon as you can.
Yeah, he could probably be a drop candidate. Do you know why he ended up dropping down on the depth chart?
Didn't he get the flu or something?
Yeah, he got the flu and ended up losing like 20 pounds, which was not good for him.
I guess.
So, I don't know. But anyways, if you guys have anything or any takeaways from preseason games so far, leave them down in the comments. We would love to discuss with you guys. Ray is quick with getting back to people in comments. It takes me a little bit, just strictly because of actual work type stuff. I normally am glued to a work phone rather than a personal phone at that point in time. So, but anyways, you ready to do this?
You know it. And if you want to send me some sweet love on that them comment sections, feel free. I'll be there. I'll be there waiting.
But all right, guys. So today we are doing, you guessed it, it's draft season. A straight up mock draft. It's going to be a head-to-head, me versus Ray versus all the other computers. Ray's drafting from the 2-hole. I am drafting from the 7-spot, 10-team, half-point PPR. As you can see down here on the side of my screen, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 defense. We're going to go 6 bench to make it a 14-round draft. And are you ready to kick this bad boy off, Ray?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get it going. Obviously, we know who the oh wow, that's not who I thought the first pick was going to be.
Christian McCaffrey then.
All right, so that was a loop. I didn't expect that to happen. So 6 running backs off the board: Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. I don't know if I would have taken that. Team 5 clearly didn't get the injury news for the stuff. Nick Chubb at 6. So right here, you have to take him. He's still there. The rushing leader, the rushing winner, Derrick Henry. I know it's half point, but that doesn't really affect me right there of taking Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and after Derrick Henry, Zeke went, then Tyreek Hill being the first receiver off the board, Aaron Jones, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, and still no Devontae off the board. I bet who's going next. Austin Eckler, and then Aaron is on the clock.
You said Devontae's going next?
Yeah.
No, he's not. I'm going to take Antonio Gibson.
Wow. Talk about not a Packer fan.
I am a Packers fan, but when it comes down to if you can start off Derrick Henry and Antonio Gibson, are you telling me you're gonna not do that?
Look, you don't worry about what I'm doing.
I know
I'm
you're
worried about my team.
all right, man. All right. But anyways, I took Antonio Gibson because Devontae could finish as the wide receiver 1, but I like the value of the wide receiver positions in rounds like 4 through 7. So if I can start out running back, tight end, I try to do that as much as I can this year.
So currently, I'm a little torn right now. Just so that everybody knows, I don't know if did you mention DeAndre Hopkins and Joe Mixon went?
Oh no, I did not. Sorry.
So Najee Harris, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Joe Mixon, and I'm on the clock now. And I'm really torn between 2 picks here.
What can I guess them?
Go ahead.
You're either gonna be torn between one of the premium tight ends left or AJ Brown.
No. So actually, you're half right. I'm torn between taking George Kittle right now and hoping that Clyde Edwards-Helaire falls to me in the 3rd, or I'm torn between taking Clyde and then hoping that
one of the 2 fall.
George Kittle falls to me because I want George Kittle. That's what I want.
Why don't you want Darren Waller anymore?
I just want George Kittle.
Why do you hate Darren Waller?
I don't hate Darren Waller, all right? I don't hate him.
Okay. So
I'm going to go ahead and take the running back because I want to solidify that. This is that point in time in the draft where if you're at the 2 spot, you're on the turn on the 2, you have to really think, what is your partner team on the other side of you going to be doing? I can't tell in a second pick, but I'm going to hope that it's not cool.
So you gambled and it paid off for you. Would you say that?
It did. And maybe George Kittle doesn't go that high. Maybe he just doesn't. Maybe the computer doesn't value him that high.
They take all the averages of all the drafts that get done on Sleeper.
I feel like he should be a 2nd round pick, but don't listen to me. Don't hype that up. Don't move his ADP, please.
So it worked for you. So are you going to take Kittle right here?
You better believe it. So after I took Clyde Edwards-Helaire to kind of solidify my backfield, Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf went. The number 1 overall receiver is still on the board, but I'm going to be taking George Kittle right now.
Stop it. So Kittle, Ridley, Mahomes goes in the 3rd. Darren Waller goes there. AJ Brown then goes a pick before me. With the Darren Waller, AJ Brown picks happening right there, really kind of hurts me, right? Because had Darren Waller went, but AJ Brown fell to me, I would have taken AJ Brown. But so now I'm in a sticky conundrum pickle here, right? Because I'll go through it just so people can see it on the screen. I'll look at quarterbacks. Too early for a quarterback for me still. I'll look at running backs. To be honest with you, J.K. Dobbins isn't a bad shout right here, I don't think. Because we're getting into that range anyways for me where we're starting to get, down on the board. And if J.K. Dobbins can get double-digit touchdowns, I think he will be good. We're looking again here. Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Allen Robinson, Mike Evans. Like I said, I like the depth at wide receiver in 4th, 5th, 6th round, 7th round too. You can find some value and still some value out of there. I'll look at tight ends too. Tight end, top 3 are gone. I'm basically punting, Ray. You locked up that last little spot there. So you know what? I don't really do it all the time because I normally take a tight end. I'll just take J.K. Dobbins, see how it works out. My running backs are solidified right here. So then after that goes DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, David Montgomery, Chris Carson, Julio Jones, Terry McLaurin. And so now I've kind of forced my hand and forced myself into being a wide receiver pick right here. So right now I'm looking at, Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper, Robert Woods, CeeDee Lamb, something like that. But I'm going to take the guaranteed surefire finishes in the top 12 every year with Allen Robinson.
Figured you would because that's just to spite me.
No, it's not to spite you. It's because you got that. So for my first receiver in the 4th round, I want someone with a good floor. Maybe not necessarily such a high ceiling, but he's consistent.
So Miles Sanders went right after you, then Darrell Henderson, which I don't think it's too high to say that he goes in the middle of the 4th. You might see him go somewhere at the back end of the 3rd, and I'm still not mad at that pick.
So take note of Darrell Henderson and take note of the 4-7 right here. And as we get closer to the regular season, you'll see both of them creep up.
So CeeDee Lamb went right after him, and I think that CeeDee Lamb's probably going to end up going somewhere in the middle of the third, which is way too high for CeeDee Lamb because he's not the number one on that team. They're not paying Amari Cooper $100 million to not be the number one. Josh Jacobs is right after him, which kind of sucks because I probably would have taken the gamble on Josh Jacobs here. I've risen enough to say that I'm not afraid to draft him in these situations, but I'm going to take Amari Cooper.
Okay. I like that pick. That's not bad. I mean, technically, as we talked about, it was one of the mock drafts we did. Technically, George Kittle, you could say, is like Travis Kelce, and instead of a tight end, you have a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2 right there, realistically speaking. So, but yeah. Anyways,
after I went and drafted Amari Cooper, Mike Evans went, then Josh Allen. Really? In the 5th? Really?
Yeah, that's soon.
That's a little. I think it's a little low for him. I'm back on the clock again. I'm really, really torn between Robert Woods and DJ Moore.
Yeah,
I know that probably the consensus on DJ Moore is probably he's not worth that roster spot. He's not worth me taking in the 5th. And
let me help you. I had DJ Moore 2 years ago, and he scored touchdowns and finished really well, and he was a really good steal in the draft. Drafted like the 8th round, he's a really good steal. Last year, I kept DJ Moore. He had over 1,000 yards, but he didn't have any touchdowns. If he would have scored even 4 touchdowns, he would have been A-okay.
I can't think that Sam Darnold's going to be a worse situation than what he was already in. I think the Matt Rule system's way better than Adam Gase, and I think Sam Darnold is a little bit better than Teddy Bridgewater as far as arm-wise goes, passer-wise. Can we just pause for a second and just...
my God, he just got back...
be banned from trading anybody ever? So I'm going to go ahead and draft Robert Woods. Okay. That's the safest pick because of what Amari Cooper's volatility is. Robert Woods has a safe floor for me, and I think that's the more appropriate pick, I guess you could say.
So after you drafted Robert Woods, Kyler Murray goes 5-3, Chris Godwin, Lamar Jackson, Myles Gaskin, kind of forgot about him there, and then I'm at the 5-7. So at the 5-7, I'm staring down the barrel of DJ Moore, Adam Thielen, Cooper Kupp, Kenny Golladay, Tyler Lockett, Deontay Johnson. A lot of these people will hopefully, knock on wood, make it back to me. But with going running back in the first 3 rounds, I've put myself in the position to have to draft wide receivers. So as much as I want to go DJ Moore, I'm going to take opposite of you and go Cooper Kupp.
I don't think that's bad. Maybe Cooper Kupp's a little more volatile than Robert Woods, but I think Cooper, like what we had said previously, Cooper Kupp, his ceiling, I think, is a little higher than Robert Woods.
So then after Cooper Kupp, Travis Etienne goes, then Kyle Pitts at 5-9. That's a little early for me for a rookie tight end. Adam Thielen, then Dak Prescott, then Justin Sherbet, as Ray likes to say, Justin Herbert. Then DJ Moore finally goes. He almost made it back to me. But with that, man, I honestly think I'm torn right now, Ray. Tyler Lockett or Deontay Johnson. I just don't know.
You said Deontay drops Johnson?
Yeah, Deontay drops Johnson.
Oh, Kenny Golladay is there. He's great. Remember?
He's also already hurt. He's got camp injuries.
He's great, man.
He's got camp injuries. All right, chill, bud.
Camp injury himself into the retirement home.
Basically, here I'm going any, mini, miny, mo, but I don't know who I would rather have. Who would you take in this situation?
None of the people you just listed.
Would you take a quarterback right here with Russell Wilson?
He is available. And it's true. But also no.
Andrews? You would take I would Mike Davis, wouldn't you? You would?
I would consider taking Mark Andrews here, yes.
Well, like I said, I've kind of put myself in a position where I need... Well, no one has tight ends but you four. All right, anyways, I'm taking too long. I'm just going to go ahead and pick Deontay drops Johnson.
Not a pick I would have made. Kareem Hunt went after you, then Mike Davis, Michael Thomas, which is not going to happen because he's going to miss like 13 weeks. Don't draft Michael Thomas. Mark Andrews, and then I'm back on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go take a look back at this old spreadsheet we got here. Let me see. So I am now torn between A, Chase Edmonds, B, Javonte Williams, or C, Tyler Lockett. Very torn between it, but I think that if I went and took Javonte Williams, shored up at least my dark horse shot. I don't think that Chase Edmonds and Javonte Williams are at the same talent level.
You're if you want to, you're afforded that luxury too when you think about it. I mean, yeah, you can draft other players, but he would be your flex play, but you can see what happens later in the draft.
Yeah, and I would also like to just say that Damien Harris is still available. I think that might also be a pick that I could take a look at later in the draft. Maybe if I skipped this round on running back and went that route, I think it'd be okay. But I'm probably going to take Javonte Williams here.
Okay. Javonte Williams, then Kenny Golladay, then TJ Hawkinson.
And I'm back on the clock again. Look at that. Seventh round. And Tyler Lockett made it back to me. So I'm going to go ahead and take Tyler
twice. Tyler Lockett in the 7th is not bad at all. T. Higgins, Chase Edmonds, Jamar Chase, James Robinson goes, and then I am back on the clock here. I don't know quarterback. I'm looking, but there's still quarterbacks that I like that I can get later, so I'm not going to look at quarterback. I could look at another running back. I could look at another receiver. Looking at tight end. I know I have some of these guys high in there. I don't have my rankings open because I don't have enough monitors for it, so I'm trying to do it all off of memory. But yeah, we are here. So I'm just gonna load up on them, bro. I'm just gonna do what I do best, and I'm going to go ahead and take. You know what? I'm gonna take one. This is where it gets tricky. Calling our shots now, huh?
Basically, you're almost at that point. I still think there's still some value on the board. A few names jump out at me right now, but
yeah,
Raheem Mostert's still there. Damien Harris is still there.
That's who I was just looking at. That's why I was like, do I want to go running back here and see what happens with the receivers?
You also have Brandon Ayuk, Odell falling to you in the 8th. That's pretty good. I don't know what you have in Cortland Sutton yet. I would like to see the offseason pan out a little more. And that's really what I'm looking at. So which way are you going, Aaron?
Going Ayuk.
Ooh. I didn't think Mostert would have fall back to you.
I didn't think so either. Then Melvin Gordon goes. That's a whole 2-round difference. Still don't really want to take a tight end here, even though I could, but I really don't want to. You know what I mean? I don't need to. I'll look at quarterback. Don't really want to take a quarterback either, even though Russell Wilson is still there, and that would be the 8th quarterback off the board, and him finishing around 8 is probably more than likely going to happen.
He's gonna go the next pick after you.
But yeah, he probably will. But I'm gonna go ahead and take Robbie Anderson as well. I'm just gonna bolster my receiving core here, and then Russell Wilson, Ronald Jones, who was a dude I was looking at too, Dallas Goedert, DJ Chark, and now Ray's back on the clock.
So I was really hoping the Ronald Jones would have fell to me, all the way back in the bottom of the 8th. That would have been nice.
Yeah,
very, very nice.
I was really on the fence between him and Brandon Ayuk.
I'm going to take Damien Harris, and I don't like it, but
starting running back, bro.
He's got to be a starting running back, right? He has to be.
Uh-huh.
Don't lie to me, Bill Belichick. Look, just do me a solid.
Look, Bill.
And then I'm going to go ahead and take Matt Stafford.
Okay, gonna lock in that starting.
He's going to fall back to me.
Lock in that starting quarterback. He probably wouldn't have, because I probably would have drafted him.
Yeah. So after I took Damien Harris, Leonard Fournette went, which I was not going to take. Take a shot on Leonard Fournette. Deebo Samuel, then I went Matt Stafford, and then after that, Juju Smith-Schuster went, Devontae Smith, which he's already hurt, Will Fuller, Noah Fant, and Aaron is now on the clock. Sorry, I cut you off too. Sorry.
You're good. You taking your quarterback makes me kind of want to go ahead and just lock in my starter because there's still quite a few people that I think that I'm looking at here in these late rounds that will still make it back to me. So I think I am actually going to go ahead and just lock in the quarterback that you hate. You know what? I draft Tom Brady everywhere. I'm going to draft Ryan Tannehill instead. Even though I have Derrick Henry and now I have Ryan Tannehill at the same time, I'm just going to let it ride. So Brandon Cooks, Trey Sermon, Tyler Boyd, Jerry Jeudy, David Johnson, Logan Thomas goes. I'm going to go ahead and take a possible spot start in some weeks just in case something happens to one of my running backs. Just going to go ahead and take him, and Ray's going to be mad. I'm going to take A.J. Dillon. In the 10th round. I couldn't let him go any further because I knew he wouldn't make it back to me. This comes down to knowing your league mates also, because Ray would have snatched him up right here if he was still on the board. Him
or Michael Carter.
Yep.
Or a little bit. My goodness.
Just about everyone you want in the late rounds is gone.
Is this? I think this is set up to hurt my feelings or something.
Could be.
It has to be.
Could be.
So right now I'm torn again between James Conner. Jarvis Landry, I guess. I don't really want to. And that's really it. Maybe Corey Davis, maybe. But probably not. I'm not willing to take a shot like that.
I'm not high on any of the
Did you know that Corey Davis finished in the top 100? The NFL top 100 they do every year. Do you know he finished in the top 100?
Like as far as players?
Yeah, he was 92, I think, 92nd.
Including linemen?
I think it does, yeah.
He made it into the top 100? How?
That's kind of what I was asking. I'm like, how did this happen? I don't know. I saw it. I thought it was kind of weird.
Only took him 5 years to find. Okay, only took him 5 years to find the crack. So James Conner, then Tom Brady, who I was on the fence about. I probably could have waited for Ryan Tannehill, but then I wasn't going to get A.J. Dillon. But then Jalen Waddle went, and now your turn.
Boy.
We're in the weeds, bro.
I know. I'm lost. I'm going to take Jarvis Landry.
Okay. I mean, it's pass catchers. There went the tight end that I was looking at. Both tight ends that I was looking at. In Gesicki and Tunyon. Jalen Hurts, then Trevor Lawrence. Now I'm back on the clock here. So with both of those tight ends gone, I'm going to look at what is going on here. I really, really don't want Tyler Higbee strictly because I already have the Henry Tannehill combo. I don't want the Cup Higbee combo. If that makes sense. So with that being said, I will wait on tight end again. Running backs, I'm not really going to look at any of the other running backs on here because I have 3 for sure starters.
You're in handcuff season.
Yeah, you're in handcuff territory. I have for sure 3 starters. I already have 1 handcuff that hopefully is going to vulture touchdowns. So now, like I said, it's just back to essentially I'm not reaching for a tight end. It's essentially just bolstering my wide receiver core. So I'm going to take Antonio Brown. Then Mike Williams, then Gronk, then Kenyon Drake. Then Joe Burrow finally goes in the 12th. Michael Pittman, Corey Davis. I'm back on the clock. So I'm going to take the shot. Take another receiver. I'm super receiver heavy, but you get the luxury of doing this when you take what I think are 3 top 24 running backs. You know what I mean? 2 of them in the top 10. So I'm going to take the shot on Henry Ruggs right here.
Okay. Well, after Henry Ruggs, Irv Smith went. Then Michael Brown. Hollywood Brown, I should say. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. I don't know what I'm thinking here. Tyler Higbee, Michael Gallup, which was a 2nd-round pick last year. That's crazy.
He's no longer part of it.
Back on the clock. I'll never forget that ever in my life, ever.
Nope.
So, if we're gonna take any handcuff, and I'm gonna have one, it's gonna be Tony Pollard. Gonna take Tony Pollard as a handcuff anytime he calls to me. And then now do we have to draft a defense and kicker?
Defense is on the board. Kicker is not.
Oh, okay, cool. I forgot you said that. Sorry. Devin Singletary went then. Gus Edwards, which kind of sucks because I would have liked to have Gus Edwards on this team. And then now back on the clock again, and that means poop. That's the universal sign for poop.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do here? You're gonna just take your top defense that you want, just go ahead and say, hey, I get my pick of the litter in defense, or are you gonna go for what do you really need? Another wide receiver, maybe?
Well, I can tell you what I'm not going to do is exactly what you just said. So I'm not going to do that.
There's one that I see that's a starting wide receiver in the NFL right now. Two.
I'm going to take Devontae Parker.
Are you really? I figured you would have taken Russell Gage or Marvin Jones.
You know what? I should have taken Russell Gage. See, it's all about remembering who is there, and Russell Gage was there. And you know what? If there's any dude that could get 1,000 yards and sneak into that top 24, it's Russell Gage.
That is very fair, and you can get him in the 13th round, but instead you chose to go with Tua's Devontae Parker.
I know, but
Mr. I don't want any part of the Miami offense.
True. You can reach back into the archives and hear that.
Again, I'm going to take, this is not in my rankings, but this is in Ray's rankings. I'm going to take a team that uses the tight end, especially I'm going to take a tight end that's on a team that uses the tight end down in the red zone. And I'm going to take the Seahawks, Gerald Everett this time around.
So after I drafted Devontae Parker, Darnell Mooney went, Nyheim Hines, Nicole Hardman, Marvin Jones, then Aaron drafted Gerald Everett. Then Jamal Williams went in the 13th. That's a little high. That shouldn't be drafted. Matt Ryan, Elijah Moore, the Buccaneers defense, the football team's defense, the Buffalo Bills defense. Why? And then Aaron's on the clock.
With the Rams. Taking the Rams defense. Then the Ravens, then the Steelers, then the Pats. 49ers, raise up. Who are you going to take, Ray?
I want to take Russell Gage.
Take him. Don't draft a defense. If you're going to take him, then don't draft a defense.
Nah, I'll stick with what.
It's not my fault you took Devontae Parker.
I don't know. See, I got nervous. I got scared. And I fumbled the pick. I'm going to take the Colts defense.
Okay, that's a good one. No, we don't want to convert to a league. Thank you, though. Nope. Ray, would you like to go ahead and read your starting lineup for us, sir?
Hell yeah. So, excuse me. I went Christian McCaffrey, 102, shocker. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Javonte Williams, Damien Harris, James Conner, and Tony Pollard to round out my running back room. Then I went around and got George Kittle early in the third to bolster that, I guess, kind of weak receiving core that you could say that I have. I don't think it's really weak. But I think I could see some eyeballs looking at my roster saying that's a pretty weak receiving core. Amari Cooper, Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett, Jarvis Landry, and Devontae Parker, unfortunately, round out my receiving core. I went and drafted Matt Stafford as my signal caller and the Indianapolis Colts defense as my defense with the highest paid linebacker in football.
They already signed him?
Yeah, he's got like a $94 million contract.
When did this contract break?
When you were underneath that rock.
Oh, on vacation? Cool. No, so for me, I've got Derrick Henry, Antonio Gibson, J.K. Dobbins, and A.J. Dillon. For my running backs, I know I only have 4, but like I mentioned before, I think my first 2 picks are top 10 running backs, and my third round pick is definitely in the top 24. And I do think A.J. Dillon could be viable. And then I have Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Ayuk, Robbie Anderson, Antonio Brown, and Henry Ruggs for receivers. I have Gerald Everett at tight end. I have Ryan Tannehill at quarterback.
Coining that?
Huh?
You coining that? You put a TM on that?
Tannehill? Yeah, we can put a little copyright, you know.
Okay.
And then the Rams defense, obviously, because they're just good every year.
I mean, look.
So yeah,
got to take a shot on defense. I don't really want to, but
I don't either. Some things that stick out from you in this draft, Ray. I can give you mine right now.
Sure.
Team 10 has Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy on the same roster.
Yeah, and look, sleeper, probably the best mock draft tool you're going to use. It ain't perfect.
That's fair.
I'm definitely not going to have Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts in the same roster. That's not going to happen.
That's also very fair. But some people do it, man. It's crazy.
Or Josh Allen and Tom Brady. That doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, or Michael Thomas in the 6th round.
Yeah,
but like realistically, like other things like who's drafted where and stuff like that. Any of that stuff stick out to you?
I would say that Devontae Adams falling to the middle of the second, that's kind of shocking to me. And maybe is that the truther in me doing that? I don't know. The homer?
I don't know.
Is that me being a homer? I don't think so.
No, because normally he's going kind of around where Tyreek Hill is, but I think this year more so than any other year, more people are taking. I think there's just more available first round quality running backs, more so than what there used to be in the past. Because there used to be, a solid 5, and then the last, 5 to 7 picks of the first round, whether it be 10 or 12 team, is kind of like, well, you could take a running back or you could take a wide receiver. But it's kind of getting to the point where it's like, all right, these running backs need to go. And then, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is when you would start looking for, wide receiver or whatever. But at that point in time, it could be the homer because, the top, I would say 4 wide receivers that even we ranked as 1 through 4. Basically, you just call your shot and take your pick on who you as a person like more.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe this is if it doesn't get a homer call in the comments, I'll be pretty surprised. I'm taking Devontae Adams over Najee Harris, Antonio Gibson, Austin Eckler, Stephon Diggs, Aaron Jones. That's pretty much he's going pretty much at the 10th.
For you, yeah. I can see that. But yeah, like I said, my rationale behind it was, as you can see, my running back room and my receiver room also turned out to be pretty okay. You know what I mean?
I can agree. I can tell you that.
And then taking him instead of Gibson, team 9 really is not good either. Outside of wide receivers, they're not going to have anything. But if I take Adams there and don't take Gibson, then coming back, I'm looking at having J.K. Dobbins as my running back too, with the potential maybe DeAndre Swift. Who really knows?
No thanks.
And then I'm looking at my running back 3, or my third running back being Miles Sanders, Darrell Henderson, Josh Jacobs, Myles Gaskin. So I kind of like, or Chris Carson. Nope, he would have went before me no matter what. So you know what I mean? So I'm kind of glad that I went the way that I went.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's go ahead and kick it back to you and I on the big screen here. With that being said, man, that was the draft. Be sure to tell us what you think of our teams down in the comments. I personally, think I won that draft, so let's get a poll vote going.
I think the comments are going to say something different.
Yeah, probably. They'll probably say like Team 6 won it or something, just to
who knows,
poop on both of us. But anyways, man, you got anything else?
No, sir, not at all.
I do not either. So guys, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you know when all of our videos come out. And then leave us some comments. Like I said, Ray likes to talk to you guys in the comments. But yeah, I guess until next time, guys. See you guys later.